I'm on the beat, but definitely not on my own street. Jeremy Hales with WTH, and there has been an epic plot twist in this story. It's your own Otter Creek citizen journalist coming back yet again, and something has happened that nobody saw coming. The state of Florida is going after LIEnette, the one, the only stalker from Newport who came up here to Otter Creek to try and get money and publicity. And she got more publicity than she ever imagined. And the publicity is going to keep on coming because the state is pursuing charges. Now, here's the crazy part. Since she has committed a crime against me, I am now in the state's eyes a victim. And as such, a victim's advocate is appointed to me. None other than Amanda Martin, who changed her Facebook to Faye Moss. There's no doubt she's famous within all of the department because she's a home wrecker. She went and started messing around with a married man and then declared if he didn't leave his family and his wife, she was going to destroy his career and his life. And how do we know all this news? Because there's a relationship that goes all the way back to Otter Creek. And you're thinking, what, she's good buddies with Russ the Suss's son's wife on Facebook? Yeah, she is friends with Russ the Suss's son, who's a county commissioner. But before even that, she is related through marriages to none other than Madam Mayor of Otter Creek. I know what you're thinking, Jeremy. How in the world could you have a victim's advocate who, one, has done despicable things to you, two, has gone into the courtroom as LIEnette is trying to get an injunction on you, and she's been in the actual courtroom in the back, whether she's texting, whether she's recording, we don't know yet. But I'm sure that news will come out as well here soon. And she told your own attorney, how could you represent that blankety blank? So I did what any responsible citizen would have done, or journalist. I contacted her supervisor and I said, whoa, no way. This ain't gonna happen. I understand there's been a crime committed against me, but this victim's advocate is not an advocate of victims. This victim's advocate will do no advocacy for me whatsoever. And therefore you need to know the whole story. But her supervisor, well, she's out till the 12th of this month, which means I've had to talk to victims advocates in Gainesville and other surrounding cities. But I'm supposed to hear from her supervisor real soon. This isn't the first time I've been a victim of a crime committed by LIEnette or Crook. So recall, she placed signs all over Otter Creek, which she somehow, her brain, she has a medical condition. She can't remember time, space, even her own name. Her whole family called her Spacey Lacey forever, and you're going to see that in just a moment. But until then, let's figure out where all these signs actually came from. Now, you already know we have a forensic expert flying in who's already given the report and has stated, yes, LIEnette wrote half of these signs. Now, we are trying to narrow down the search on who wrote the other half of the signs. And no, we don't believe it was Crook. As a matter of fact, we've analyzed his handwriting with that handwriting, and we've thrown him out. You know, something she should have done a whole long time ago. And we've looked at other residents of Otter Creek, and we have it narrowed down to roughly 2 possibilities right now. As a matter of fact, we just did another public record request so we could get another handwriting sample for a resident in Otter Creek to compare that with. We continued on that hunt and on that search for the second person, or under oath in court, she's just going to have to tell us anyway, and then we go after that person. So you understand this is horrific defamation, what she's done. And how did this whole sign idea come up? Where did she get the signs? Well, I'm about to tell you. If you recall, LIEnette wanted to run for town council. As a matter of fact, we just put in a public records request for her application to run for town council yet again, this upcoming election that she submitted, but then she pulled. So you're going to see that real soon. You know, the individual who's paralyzed to her own home, can't do anything, but she's willing to drive within a 100-mile radius or even 200 miles to make sure that she's there to marry you for your proudest day, your happiest day, if you only make a small donation to a turtle sanctuary. Purgatory is what it is. So LIEnette is running for town council. Oh boy. And she says to this resident of Otter Creek, I need a copy of sunshine laws printed out and the bylaws here so I can read up on all of it. And then what she say after she has to read? Ugh. You know how we feel after we read everything she's put in print? Ugh. So I feel too. Okay. And then she goes on to say that she's going to get signs made up for April. Look at that right there. That's the first inference to signs. So she wants to put signs all over Otter Creek so that people know to vote for LIEnette. LIEnette for town council. I can strip on a pole. I'm all for turtles, not for moles. Signs, signs everywhere, a sign. Oh man, there we go again, all highlighted from the one, the only, LIEnette, who says he's a tool. I'm having signs made up to put up with my name and running for the board. You should do that too. Get people talking about us. Well, there's no doubt the world is now talking. Okay, so what does LIEnette do? LIEnette runs down to Chiefland. She goes to the local store where they have foam board and some steaks. Major issue though. We have a timeline and we also have a store that keeps a record of receipts. So we already have the material. We already have the receipts. And we know it was LIEnette. And LIEnette purchased all these foam boards and these steaks for herself in the beginning. It was to actually propagate. And it was to promote herself running for town council in Otter Creek. Otter Creek! She's not a meek. She's for Otter Creek. And yet, nobody wanted her in there. She was the lesser of all the evils. If anybody had to choose between Russell Meeks and LIEnette, at that time, we didn't know how insanely mentally unstable this woman was. People probably would have actually voted for LIEnette if she didn't say all the garbage that she said on a daily basis. And what happened? Russell Meeks, like the worst of the worst, the bottom of the barrel. Russ the Sus got voted in over LIEnette. And these signs never got posted because LIEnette never knew what are the town ordinances. Can I put up signs or can I not? Because they already got in trouble because John and LIEnette put up signs handwritten in public announcement boards, and then they put up a 4x8 sign in their own property, which was illegal as well because they claim to be a 501c3, and as a 501c3, you legally cannot be for somebody or against somebody in any type of election or race. Now, you can run, but you can't publicly declare that you are against somebody, as they did, as you can see right here.
We still have the illegal sign right here on the property. Here we go. Still have the illegal sign.
So now you got a couple rug addicts, and one of them rug dealing with a sign on their property, and then a local saying, hey, something ain't right. February 1st. LIEnette Preston, yet again, who illegally changed her name to Michelle so she could use her biological daughter's name to continue to scam. 39 aliases that we know of thus far from this con artist, this scam artist, who says, I have to tell you, today a resident of Otter Creek told John he needs to take that giant sign down. That's the one you just saw. And LIEnette tried to get me to take it down. She asked me to come over yet again with my tractor and remove the sign while Crook was in the hospital. To which I responded, I don't want anything to do with you two. That is your issues, and we stayed away from it and stayed out of it, as they created to create all this chaos and all this turmoil in Otter Creek. Okay, and so he says John needs to take that sign down out front about Russell and not put another one up and focus on cleaning up our property and leave the campaigning to me, LIEnette Preston. All right, because he will hurt my campaign, meaning Crook. Because Crook will hurt my campaign if he keeps acting negative in the way he's acting when we should be acting in love. This individual doesn't know anything about love except for love for self. You understand that she doesn't possess that ability, that common affection that you and I, normal people, actually know of as love. This individual, as a full-blown narcissist, has no concept of what it is to truly love except to only think about self and never to think about others. And I'm sure you've known people like that in your life. The only thing they do is think about themselves. They never think about others. And that is LIEnette 100%. Doesn't think about, boy, this is a child I could love. Thinks about, this is a child I can get money from. Doesn't think about, oh man, this is a town where I could love. All she does is create chaos and hate pages, and the list goes on and on if she doesn't get what she wants from you. So we have these individuals who went out and bought all this foam board and all these stakes, and they're not putting them up over town now for the campaigning. What to do? Got an idea. Sell eggs, right? Oh boy. Yep, there you go. Got all this poster board, stakes, don't know what to do with all these signs. Okay, she says, I could make up a sign and put an arrow to here. Oh, wait. Is this or is this not the same mentally unstable woman that is complaining about increased traffic on our road? Because Jeremy Hales of What the Hales is here. And now she wants to create a sign and put an arrow so even more people drive down the road. Doesn't everybody in the world know her child is a runner? She's a runner! Somebody, please! Somebody, wait. Oh, wait. That's right. LIEnette is supposed to be responsible for taking care of a child, not everybody that drives down the road. I'm curious how many times she would call the cops if people drove down the road following her sign. The arrow going straight to her place, which she's now telling the courts, I don't want anybody. Like, no, there's hundreds of cars a day. Okay, maybe 10, but there's hundreds. Oh man! And she wanted to put up a sign. Wanted to point it straight to her place. And I can set up a stand. And I can sell all my jewelry. I have tons of it. Oh, now she's gonna have an illegal business with no type of legal paperwork whatsoever in Otter Creek. She's going to run an illegal business, a stand. Oh my goodness. What fool would drive up to that place and go, yeah, I would like some jewelry? Anybody in their right mind would drive up to that dump and go, let's get as far away from possible as we possibly could. And so now, okay, so you get where I'm going. They got the poster board. They got the stakes. They wanted to put it up for the candidacy. And that didn't fly because they didn't know the ordinances. And other residents were telling them to get these signs down. So now she wants to put up sign, putting an arrow towards the eggs and towards her jewelry. She wants to make money off of traffic. Now she's in court complaining about the traffic. In another tragic plot twist, she yet again was not bright enough to generate any income off of the expenses she already paid for this foam board and these stakes. So in the wee briskness of the morning, or maybe it was dark at night like her soul, she went out creeping around, spot, and staked these signs into the ground that said Jeremy Hales, the Ohio Rapist, even to the point of stating, I rapped her own daughter. And yet there was no police report. There was no running to get an injunction. There was absolutely nothing except 2 residents the next morning waking up and finding every single sign. So Vice Mayor Zim got half of them. Brett and Madam Mayor Therese got the other half. And now they're all coming to the courtroom with the forensic handwriting expert. June 17th, 2023. John Crook posts this. Don't worry, I'm going to read it to you. It's only the receipt showing you the receipt. I'll read you the receipt. He says, I see the coward of Levy County and his wife. He goes on to say, and his blank of a wife are posting more lies, and his sheep believe it. God, they are stupid. Okay, pot calling the kettle black here. All right. Well, I guess it's time. You see what he says? I guess it's time to put the sign back up. And it will be very interesting to read. As a matter of fact, it was very interesting. Now, I don't give Marla Hughes any type of respect whatsoever. This is not an individual that deserves any respect. And as a matter of fact, if you talk to anybody in Levy County, there is no one that gives her respect. I mean, people just can't stand the woman. She's so negative and she's so off her rocker. But yet, she finally says something that is smart. She says, you are harming Michelle by chest bumping Jeremy like this. And she's very, very right. She was half right, you see, because he not only harmed LIEnette, who Marla is calling Michelle, which is not her name. He not only harmed LIEnette, he harmed himself, because that exact text was used in Ohio court twice. That exact text was used to prove that these two individuals continue to hang up signs twice. That exact text was used against them to get civil protection orders. That exact text was used yet again in this last court hearing to increase that civil protection order and take away all their firearms and to have charges pressed against them that will be on their record the rest of their lives. And the funniest part of it, Crook can't even afford white paint. He's going on Facebook groups begging people to actually give him white paint. He's not going to pay for it. Does anybody in Chiefland have any old white paint that they want to give away? He wants to whitewash the sign so he can put up more stuff about what the hails. Oh, you want to see some other whiteboard signs that Crook actually put up on the property? And when called out on all of this stuff, what does LIEnette post? Well, she posts this meme. Rule number 1, put God in the center of everything. Michael Pope had a better rule. Rule number 2, don't do meth. To be very clear, God is not a part of her life at all. The whole aspect of her stating she's an ordained minister is only another way to try and get money without doing any work. It's another con. It's another scam. You can understand she's what the Bible calls a false prophet, okay? And God's going to say to those individuals, depart from me, I do not know you. And it's very evident to see that she does not know God or God's word. So you can't sit there and go, I'm an ordained minister, but I don't understand anything God has to say. As a matter of fact, she continues to do the exact opposite of what God has to say. Now, again, keep in mind, Christians aren't perfect people. By no stretch of the imagination am I perfect. I'm a filthy sinner. I'm such a filthy sinner that I go, God, I need you. I want to do better. And I continue to fail, but I want to get better. And I failed again, but I want to get better. And I'll fail more, but I want to get better. And I need God's strength to continue and his love to continue to share his love with others. And yeah, I'll always revert back and fail. It's part of my sin nature, but I don't want to sin. These are individuals across the street that all they do is focus on themselves. God's not the center of their lives. You got rugs that are the center of the lives. And really, let's get down to the reality of it. She is the only thing that's the center of her life, We've been looking at text messages that were sent to one resident of Otter Creek. Now we're going to look at Facebook messages that have been sent to another resident of Otter Creek that's going to be giving testimony in the court hearing. April 4th, 2023 at 10:01 a.m. I'm about ready to give up on this insanity. Well, what's the insanity? All the craziness, all the chaos that she brought to Otter Creek with all these ridiculous Facebook posts and pages, the whole deal, at 9:13 p.m. And you'll see here that this resident actually blocked her because it is insanity. Nothing but insanity comes out of that woman's mouth. And she says, I didn't make it. She's talking about the election. I feel Brett and Therese sabotaged me, especially with that thing about Laura Mott, which, wouldn't you know it, Laura Mott is running for a 2-year seat for Otter Creek. Last time we've seen Laura Mott at Town Hall, she was crying, saying, you can't film me. I didn't give you permission to film me. I wonder how she's going to feel when I'm there every single month. And she's going to find out real soon there's ethic complaints and violations on her as well, which she's under investigation for that under her tenure as mayor. I wonder how she's going to do with the camera. Not my camera, many cameras, everybody's camera, watching every move she makes. But LIEnette goes on to say, especially about Laura Mott today, I'm not her friend. LIEnette says that. Whatever Laura Mott did, LIEnette says, I am not her friend. And yet, LIEnette said 98% of the people in Otter Creek are just big fans of her and Crook. Big fans. There's only 2 people out of the 100, George and myself. I doubt if Laura Mott likes her either, but hey, let's keep going on. I am not her friend. I don't even like her. She goes on to say. But all these people in Otter Creek are such huge supporters of LIEnette. And I've never spoken to her except to be screamed at by her. Okay, another person. She's claiming, by the way, if you have a normal conversation like you and I are talking right now, you, the viewer, and me, the broadcaster here at WTH News, if you have a normal conversation just like this, LIEnette will state that you are screaming at her. Just be ready. And then it goes on to the next thing that you somehow abused her. And then it goes on to the next thing that there was adult, intimate abuse happening. And she will claim you did that against children. And that's the pattern of her life. As a matter of fact, we're going to show you some of that here. So she goes on to say that she doesn't even like Laura Mott, and it's not her fault that she didn't get elected. It's not because of her mouth. It's not because of all the garbage her and, well, she has posted in the past, it's all because of Crook. But it's anybody but her. She's the perfect candidate for Otter Creek. I don't even like Mott. She's not for Mott. No. It's Brett and Teresa's fault. The insanity, the literal insanity that comes out of a person's mouth like this, that doesn't know how to take responsibility for their own actions. And again, that is 100% textbook narcissism. Maybe the residents of Otter Creek didn't vote for her because on election day, she had a child out in what appears to be some type of animal cage. I haven't had a child in a long time. Maybe they do make things like this for children. But the last I've seen, these are for dogs. And by the way, just so we're clear, as you're going, is there really a child in there? Yeah, there's a child in there. The child is in there. And as Judge DeThomasis is looking at aspects of me posting the child, which number one, I'm not the only one that posts on What the Hales, which I find that ironic that he's going after me. But I am ultimately the one in charge for all the posts. I'm responsible for them. That's something you'll never hear LIEnette say, that she's responsible. Okay, so I'm responsible for everything that is posted. So every post that has ever been made is number one, public information, Fish and Wildlife camera, or number two, it is something that she has posted publicly. And so there is nothing that has ever been done inappropriately by any stretch of the imagination. So what does LIEnette go on to say on election day, which by the way, this day was super, super hot. super hot.
It was close to 100.
It
maybe
was
even
ridiculously
over 100.
hot. And you can see the child is not happy, hunched over in a fetal position. My daughter is in a very expensive playpen because, wait, hold a second. All right, this is a person who begs for everything in her life. Now all of a sudden she has a very, very, very expensive playpen. So she begs for everything. Did somebody donate it? Did somebody give money for this? She begs literally for everything. Like, she literally yesterday just started begging. No, it was today. Begging for balls for the animals. Begging for balls and pellets. Begs for white paint. Now all of a sudden we have a very expensive playpen right there. Very, very, very expensive playpen. As every resident of Otter Creek is driving by on the way to town hall, seeing this and going, this is so inappropriate. Because we were less than a foot from the road. No child should be a foot off of the road at any stretch. This is not okay. We were less than a foot from the road, and I didn't want her to be killed while I greeted voters. Insanity. Literal insanity. At the polling place, well, an allegation has been made to CPS that I kept my daughter in a tent, like cage, like animals, as well as other very false allegations. To say I'm mad doesn't even touch point. God hates liars. Huh. Interesting. I'm curious how God would feel about LIEnette then. Just yesterday, LIEnette wrote more about liars from God's word in her Standing in Her Trash Facebook page. NIV, which means New International Version. I bet you LIEnette didn't know that, even though she's an ordained minister. NIV means just what I said. And it is the P Psalms. The P Psalms right there. You see that? It's P Psalms 102:2. All right, it's pronounced Psalms. I bet LIEnette didn't know that either. It is Psalms. And when you think of the Psalms, you're really thinking about what it sounds like. Songs, okay? The songs of the Hebrew nation during this time. Many were written by David. Moses even wrote a psalm. Many of these are the history of what's going on in the Hebrew nation in poetic form song. Like when I sing the Otter Creek song, the saga of Otter Creek, that is taking what's happening in our lives and putting it in song form so that we share that with other generations and it's easy to remember. And so this is what it says. Psalm 120 verse 2. This chapter 120 verse 2. It says, "Save me, Lord, from lying lips and from deceitful tongues." Oh my goodness. How is God going to save her from herself? She is a pathological liar, not a psychic liar. Well, maybe she is a psychic liar. Maybe she sees her lies coming before they even come out of her mouth. Maybe she's like, I know which one I'm coming up with next. There it is. Psychically lying. And from deceitful tongues. She goes on to say, it's a shame our world has lost its way. So many people are hurting. So many people are hurting others. Oh, by doing what? By putting signs up all around a town, trying to destroy a man's credibility, his entire reputation, by calling him a rapist? Or maybe it's claiming that you raised... George, how many children has LIEnette claimed that she's raised on her own?
When I was on her property, I've only met this woman in person 4 times, and I've been on her property 3 times. And the second time I was there, she told me she raised 8 children all by herself because she's always been a single mom, even though she was married 7 times.
And she's a single mom still today. She calls herself a single mom.
And that she raised 23 grandchildren by herself.
Okay. All right.
8. And the whole time I was thinking, where are those 8? Why aren't they helping you with your property?
She has claimed she has raised 8 kids. She's the mother to 8 and all these grandkids. And what did she post yesterday? Let me get it to a point where I am not promoting her pages, but I will share what she posted. Okay? So she posted this yesterday. So people out there hurting other people, Well, there's 8 kids that she supposedly raised. She said, my daughter's M, that would be Michelle, the real Michelle. And we've already shared about her earlier this week. And L, that would be Lindsay. And H, well, that would be an underage child that is across the street right now. That is, in my opinion, very neglected and very much so in danger. You know, Mom adores you. I have no other children. I have no other children. Shake my head. And appropriately response to a video that we shared all of her lies in. All of them. Oh boy, so now who's hurting who? It would appear as though LIEnette is the one that's out there trying to hurt all these other 5 children that she raised as a single mom. And all these 20-some, I don't even know, I can't even count that high, 20-some grandchildren that she solely raised her entire self, single mom with no help whatsoever because she was married 7 times, divorced 7 times, and Crook doesn't do anything. She's a victim.
I've raised every one of my grandchildren. I have 23 of them. I raised 8 kids.
For everyone out there keeping score of how many lies, you know, that deceitful tongue that she's begging the Lord to save her from. She also said she was black. Remember? Her whole family's black. And there's her name right there, voter registration. And yet, down here, okay? Down here, she is a white, non-Hispanic female, registered to vote in Levy County. Now, you may be thinking, was her address on there? She's a public place. She has her address posted all over the world. It's not like she's trying to remain private. She has it blasted everywhere.
For her rescue.
And it's right there on the internet as well. That address for the tortoise and turtle rescue. As a matter of fact, on 9/17/2023, believe it or not, LIEnette's actually thanking me. I wonder if she was planning on telling Judge DeThomasis that. She says, I believe I need to clarify something. In the state of Florida, I was not aware to solicit means to go after donations, to ask for donations. You have to be registered with the USDA. Well, thank you, Jeremy Hales. Right here. Thank you, Jeremy Hales. Huh, interesting. Wonder what the judge is going to think about this. Thank you, Jeremy Hales, because I did not know that, and I do not lie. I tell the truth openly. I'm very glad he played the game he did because it helped me to learn something. Not that I'm giving him credit for it. Wait, did she or did she not just thank me? I'm pretty sure she already gave me credit. Now she's taking the credit away again. Not that I'm giving him credit for it, but I am now, as of last week, registered with the USDA to take donations, to solicit them, to have been acting on our own. We have not acted under a 501c3 at all yet. False yet again. She already had the 501c3 and the paperwork. She was acting illegally as a 501c3, which all of that is being reported as well. And she continues to, because everybody who gave donations, whether it was a gift in kind, which is a physical donation, I could gift this shirt, has to receive a tax-deductible receipt or a monetary donation. And there were many people, I believe, that gave donations to literally see if she would give a tax donation receipt, which nobody's received anything, which means her 501c3 is going to be pulled from her. All of this information on running a 501c3. If only she should thank me more for it. Look, just like she did here. All right. As of last week, I'm registered with the USDA to take donations, to solicit them. We've been acting on our own. We haven't acted under the 501c3. Again, it's a lie. She was acting illegally. So I will be calling the IRS on Monday morning. I'll be talking to them about how I move forward because I'm brand new to this. We did this on our own. We didn't ask when we didn't get donations in Northport. Oh, wait, that beautiful home in Northport where all these animals were so well taken care of. And they were putting up GoFundMes every single day. No kidding, they didn't get donations. They still wouldn't get donations if it wasn't for What the Hales and our true fans who love to hate, who love us so much that they hate us, that they literally have to listen to and dissect every single word. And is Jeremy 6'2"? Is he 5'5"? Oh man, what is it? Yeah, well, getting donations now and getting in more trouble. All right, so we did it all in Northport, all on our own. We had no idea. We didn't try. We didn't know what we wanted to do. We're all new. I wanted to do this to help tortoises and reptiles. If you had seen how many reptiles I had in Northport, it was like a lot. And I really needed help. And I want to help as many as I can. I do want to see them I don't want to see them be put down. She doesn't have to see them being put down. She's literally over there killing them herself. Those lying lips, that deceitful tongue that she needs saved from herself. I'm going to show you yet another one. April 5th, 9:11 a.m. This is to the second resident in Otter Creek on Facebook. Says, thanks for backing me. Now that it's over, I'm just going to step away. Talking about the election. I'm going to step away from it all. What happened to me on my property happened. Those two did what they did. They ripped me apart for no reason. I've never done anything to anyone. I've never had, and keep in mind, it's her saying DHS, not George and I. We're talking about LIEnette saying DHS. We know DHS is Department of Homeland Security. This is LIEnette saying DHS.
No, it's
we would say
services.
Children's Services, okay? I've never had any children's services called on me until I moved to this. I thought she loved this town. I literally thought she loved this precious, beautiful little town and her beautiful piece of property. Until I moved to this blank town. I'm not on rugs. I'm actually taking myself off of my rugs. I cut myself down. All right. Never had DHS called on her. Okay. So, number one, we've already proven that she's had that everywhere she's gone before. Debunked! And John Crook has even threatened to call DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Never had children's services called on her until she got to Otter Creek. Oh, those lying lips, that deceitful tongue that she needs saved from. Well, August 25th, 2020, by the one, the only, Crook himself, who posts, Connie Bruni with ABCD is now threatening a mother with a child with a metabolic disorder. Well, she trained Crook right, didn't she? Life-threatening metabolic disorder. Again, to have her child removed with social services. Right here. Have her child removed with social services because she flipped out at the Republican table. Somebody should tell Connie Bruni from ABCD that it's against the law to make false accusations with children's services. Somebody should tell old Crookie that it's against the law to dump gray water on property in Florida. Somebody should tell old Crookie that it's against the law to live in a shed. Somebody should tell Crook it's against the law to have reptiles within a quarter of a mile of residence. Somebody should tell Crook that his camper is against the law. Somebody should tell Crook it's against the law to pull out a firearm on other residents. 2019, Instagram. Yeah, she has other accounts. This is her Instagram account. And man, is it ramble on. But particularly, it states right here. She goes on and rambles about everything. She goes on to say, Samantha and Kathy have already turned me into CPS. Huh, would these be receipts? Would you consider this being debunked? Would this be, oh Lord, save me from the lying lips, the deceitful tongue? Oh my goodness. Yet again, we share reality and truth. Yet again, we show she's a pathological, not a psychic, a pathological liar. Yet again, this woman's mind, that's why her kids called her Spacey Lacey. This woman has never gone by the name of Michelle. ever until she came to Otter Creek, trying to con and scam over and over and over again. Never forget 39 aliases. And never forget, she scammed and conned a female out of giving her $7,000. $7,000 for an attorney retainer. That this person will never see a penny of it again, ever, because there's going to be sanctions. Because she's going to owe us for all this frivolous, for all this insanity that she's created in our lives. Well, let's see what those lying lips, that deceitful tongue has to say about rugs. January 19th. This goes into the rugs. As a matter of fact, this goes back to the first individual that will be a witness in this case. She goes on to say, my ruggy daughter. Why would anybody ever describe their daughter as a ruggy? My ruggy daughter. Why wouldn't you say, my daughter who I love so much, who is unfortunately addicted to recreational pharmaceuticals? You know, why the absolute lack of love is,
well, especially to someone she barely knows.
So concerning. And she doesn't even barely know this person she's sending this message to. My ruggy daughter told the other daughter, I abuse pills. LOL. I'm not on opioid. I haven't been on them now for a year. Oh, you think I'm joking? Okay. All right. Lying lips, deceitful tongue. On the opioids, all right. Which is why she knows what a AUA is and all these other things. I am not an opioids. I haven't been for a year now. And this is retaliation for her being kicked out of here, for lying about me to everyone when here, and her behavior. Now, we've already covered what this all means. This was Junior, who she abandoned, her own biological blood abandoned her in a town with nothing except the clothes on her back. So this is retaliation for her being kicked out. No, this really sounds like, to me, this is the same as the other drug addicts, Jim and what was the female's name? Jessica, that were on the property. Homeless, had nowhere to stay. But these two psychos are so insane and things are so nasty and so crazy. Even homeless people want to get out of there and report them. And same with Junior here. But no, LIEnette has to say that. Now, this is retaliation for being kicked out of here, for lying to me, to everyone when here, and her behavior. The other says I called DHS. Okay, again, it's not us saying DHS. It's LIEnette saying DHS on her. And I didn't ever. Her child did. Now she's claiming children. Oh, wait, these would be the grandchildren that she raised all alone. A single mom raising all the grandkids. But the grandkids not with her. Huh. Debunked yet again. All right, man. I swear we should have citizen debunkist. We're debunkers. We're debunkeristist. Okay. Oh, yes. I forgot. Most crucial part right here.
Let me zoom.
The other says I called DHS on her and I didn't never. Her child did. I wonder what her face looks like when she says this into the phone.
I don't.
You know what? Yeah, nobody in their right mind needs to be scared that way. It's not Halloween yet.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah. Went through, don't know, is I already asked her pediatrician and her metabolic doc yesterday for help and for me to learn how to better deal with her broken eggs. This is insanity. We just went from my ruggy daughter to metabolical doctor. There's eggs smashed on the floor. My laptop. Eggs on floor, smashed my laptop on floor. Does not stop if running in road. She just has issues. And yet again, Ugh. It makes me hate my daughters. Yeah, that's LIEnette Preston. Lord does need to save her. Breaking news here in Otter Creek. We just got the rug samples of the one, the only LIEnette Preston, who says that her daughter is a ruggie, everybody else around her is a ruggie, and her ex-man, he's a rug dealer. Let's see what the test comes in and see. Wait, maybe we should get Murray Povich right now. No, we don't have to, because LIEnette actually posted her drug results. And the funny part is she says, clean. All right, let's take a look at the actual test. Here's the controls. If there's 2 lines, it's a negative. If there's 1 line, it means she tests positive. Let's zoom in again. For this drug, she tests negative. For this, positive. For this, positive. Negative. Let's look over here. We've got positive. And what do we have down here? Oh yeah, we've got positives. And what are those positives for? Opioids and barbiturates.